Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel Cooking with Lexi. Today we will be making this delicious seafood mac and cheese. I'm going to start off with my seasonings. It's about a teaspoon of each. I got some black pepper, pink Himalayan salt. You can use regular table salt though, for sure. Old Bay seasoning, lemon pepper, and I'm just putting these all in a small dish and stirring them. Onion powder. Also some garlic powder. I realized here that I forgot to put the top back on because I had to open a fresh one. So sorry for the little pause there. And then I've also got two different Cajun seasonings. We got Slap Your Mama. And I tried this new Cajun seasoning. It's pretty similar to Slap Your Mama, but it's actually like $3 cheaper. So it's a pretty good substitution if you don't want to get that one. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how I prepared and seasoned my seafood. I just cut my lobster tails straight down the middle with a pretty sharp, large knife and just pulled the meat right out of them. You can go ahead and just cut them right in half and pull out the pieces in halves. I decided to use fresh lobster tails, so I bought these yesterday fresh from Meijer and just kept them in the refrigerator. You can use frozen ones, you're just going to need to thaw them. And these are like 4 to 6 ounces is what I was told. So we're using quite a bit of lobster in this dish today, so it's going to be about 8 to 12 ounces total. So now I'm going to wash my lobster tails. Just give them a good old rinse here. Put them to the side. These are my shrimp here, just thawing in the sink. I'm going to pat these dry with a paper towel. This is just to take out the excess water, just because when I season them, you don't want it to fall off. So I'm patting them nice and dry. And then I'm going to grab my little... Oh, sorry. I'm actually going to chop them up. I was going ahead of myself. Into just little bite-sized pieces to put inside of the mac and cheese. So I did it by just slicing the tail down the middle. Like if you did it in the beginning, you'll be fine, but I didn't get them all the way through. So slice them, chop them up, and then I am going to take a little bit of the seasoning from my little seasoning mixture. Just get a spoon and sprinkle it in there pretty generously, I would say. And then I will toss it around and make sure it's nice and evenly coated throughout all of the lobster. So this is our first kind of use of the seasoning. I use a little bit over 2 cups of this elbow macaroni. You can use kind of whatever pasta you want. Some people like to use cavatappi, but it's about a pound total. I'm just also preparing my imitation crab meat right here. If you want to be super fancy, you can use lump crab meat, and that'll make your recipe even better. Or if you want to be like 5-star chef, you could use some actual crab legs and just thaw them and take the meat out and chop that meat up and put it inside of your mac and cheese. I've never personally done that just because that seems like a lot of money to spend on a mac and cheese dish, and I like to shop economically. But if you want to do that, big props to you. I guarantee you it would be absolutely delicious. So highly encourage it. So I'm just going to so I chopped up this crab meat and I'm breaking it apart right now, and I'm also going to season this with my little mixture. And I decided to do a voiceover today, guys. It was a lot easier to record. And I promise you, I'm going to start recording more often now that I figured this out, because it was a lot of setup before. So now that I know how to do this, I'm getting a little bit more tech savvy with videos. I'm going to start making a lot more. I'm just grabbing the shrimp from the sink that I had thawed out, and I left it there to dry now. And I'm seasoning this as well, moving it around afterwards, distribute it. And I just put all my seafood to the side and put that plate in the refrigerator so that it didn't get warm. I just included this so you could see what the seasoning job should look like on your seafood. So yeah, you can see there's a lot of seafood we're putting in this mac and cheese. It's going to be awesome. This is how to tell when your noodles are done. They should be al dente because they will cook inside of the mac and cheese sauce. Now we're moving on to the sauce. This is 2 tablespoons of butter right here. Then I'm also going to take 2 just spoonfuls, like regular tablespoons of flour. And we're going to start making our roux, which is going to be the thickening agent of our mac and cheese sauce. Very similar to when I showed you guys how to make just the regular old school Southern mac and cheese. This is the same exact way that you started off. Just some butter and some flour. This is going to be this thickening agent. Take a tip from my book right here. Melt your butter before you add the flour, because otherwise you just gotta it gets chunky and stuff. But 2 cups of milk right here that I'm going to be adding to the roux afterwards. And if you can use whole milk, that's best. You can also use heavy whipping cream or half and half if you want it to be super creamy. I just had 2% and that's what I used, and it still turned out delicious, so it really doesn't matter. But if you want like thicker, creamier, I would use like a half and half or heavy whipping cream. It's also a lot more calories, so beware. I'm just adding the milk to my roux, and now I'm going to make sure that I stir. Like, get it to really evenly incorporate here. And this is going to be just the base of your sauce. All right, throw a little sprinkle of that seasoning mixture in there. Don't overdo it at all because it'll get way too spicy. Just a little bit. And then I added just a little smidge of brown sugar like I did to my other mac and cheese recipe. Stir. You know the drill with this one. You want to keep stirring and making sure nothing's burning at the bottom of your little saucepan. Otherwise, it'll taste kind of nasty. My cheeses are going to be a little bit of Velveeta, some pepper jack cheese, and Colby. Preheat the oven to 375. And then we're going to slowly add our cheeses. I start with just half the bag of half the bag of pepper jack, a couple cubes of Velveeta. Don't overdo the Velveeta because this is a seafood. You want more of that pepper jack, like cheddar-y taste rather than the Velveeta. I just added I think I added 6 little cubes. So I'm actually going to shred the Colby jack cheese, the regular Colby cheese myself. With mac and cheese, if you can shred your own cheese, it will always taste better. I just love freshly shredded cheese because they add a little bit of preservatives to bag shredded cheese. So I just think fresh shredded cheese is a lot yummier. So I'm going to keep a little bit of this Colby to add to the top of my mac and cheese later, so I'm not going to use it all. And just stir, and it's really important to keep that cheese sauce stirring. And we want a lot of sauce, like I said in the last one, because when you bake mac and cheese, it'll dry out because the noodles will absorb some of that sauce mixture. So you want to keep it super saucy. So you can see I added the rest of that cheese, and I sped up this video for you too because this is a long video. I'm not actually cooking this fast. That would be awesome though. This is kind of for you to see what the consistency should look like. You can see I still have a couple of chunks in there. It's not quite finished. So keep on melting your cheese until all the chunks are gone and it's nice and thick and creamy. I'm just dumping the cheese right into the macaroni today because I knew I made plenty of cheese. I could just tell by looking at it that there is a ton of cheese, which is exactly what you want to happen. So I'm just dumping it right back into the pot, and I'm going to stir it around. And this is the base of my mac and cheese. This is the longest part. From here on out, it goes pretty quick. You can see it looks nice and cheesy, and oh my god, that pepper jack cheese is so good. I'm just using a little cube of butter to butter my pan. When it comes to mac and cheese, this tastes the best, but you can also just use cooking spray, like some Pam or whatever off-brand cooking spray you use. I love me some off-brands. Sorry about that, my phone fell. But anyways, I buttered my pan super, super, super thoroughly because you don't want it to stick to your pan. You'll thank yourself later when you have to wash that mac and cheese pan and there's not noodles stuck to it everywhere.
Bro, they have purses on here. They have panties on here, bro. I swear to God.
And then this is me washing my hands. Guys, please wash your hands. Oh my gosh. I forget to say it at the beginning of my video, but I always wash my hands multiple times while I'm cooking. Please, please wash your hands. I'm pouring half of my mac and cheese into the pan. And then I'm going to start layering seafood into the first half. This is so that you're not just plopping all your seafood on top. And then when you go to eat your seafood, you just eat it all at once because it's all sitting in one spot. When you add 2 layers, it makes sure that your seafood is just evenly distributed throughout the entire pan of mac and cheese. And it's awesome. I like to push my seafood into it a little bit just so it kind of sits in there nicely. And then I'm adding the next layer of mac and cheese. I'm going to spread that out over all the seafood and then repeat the process. You're going to add all of the rest of your seafood. Don't leave any behind. Don't you dare throw any of that precious seafood away. Put every single piece into your mac and cheese and you will thank yourself later because, it is just so delicious when you have all of that nicely seasoned, delicious, flavorful seafood inside of the rich pepper jack and Colby and Velveeta cheeses. It's literally, guys, this dish was so delicious. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm shredding the rest of that Colby cheese on top. You don't need a ton for the on top cheese just for this dish because you want that seafood to just really stand out. This one's not 100% about the cheeses. The cheeses are more to complement it. I'm going to throw in some parsley flakes just to garnish, along with some oregano and some basil. And those seasonings, guys, were so necessary. It added just that extra oomph that this dish just, oh my gosh. When I say this is my most requested dish, like seriously, it's like I've had probably 20 people ask me to show them how to make this. I'm just showing you how I toast my bread on a pan with some cooking spray. This is just like the perfect way to toast it, and it's easy. I'm just adding some water to my asparagus that I'm steaming, and look at that. I baked that for 30 minutes at 375, and it came out so good, guys. It was absolutely delicious. Like, 10 out of 10, please make this dish. That asparagus, that was a quick way to make it. Just throw it in the microwave for 6 minutes with some water, some nicely toasted bread there, and that was just a great meal. You can see how ooey gooey this is. Look at that garnish, guys. Please do that if you make this. Look at that lobster tail and the shrimp. I forgot to mention I did put that in raw because when it cooks for 30 minutes in the oven, it perfectly cooks it. It was so juicy, but it was definitely done. Just absolutely delicious. This was our little Sunday family dinner that we had. That's our friend Cassidy, and she was helping me feed our daughter, and this is just awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Love you all. See you later.